If Capcom was to come out right now and just say, you know what, we're tired of making all these different versions or different styles of Street Fighter, 3 Alpha felt different from, 3 felt different from 4 feels different from 5. If they were to just say, you know what, forget it, man, we're going to take one of the styles that we've done so far and we're just going to make that into the solidified style of Street Fighter from here on out, what Street Fighter style would you guys like to see? And why? Starting with you, Mr. Gaming. Let's take it away.
Street Fighter Alpha 3. Bruh, do I have to say it anymore? The V-isms, the different isms, A-ism, V-ism, X-ism, you could put G-ism in there, N-ism, O-ism, you could just do the whole alphabet. Just give us all kind of bars and different mechanics. Just like with I do think it was interesting that when they made Capcom versus SNK 2, that they kept the same bars and then they added extra ones that had these different mechanics and gave them different things. I think that kind of I feel like that will probably spice things up more than something like V-Trigger, because now you can pretty much play different versions of a character. Like, let's say you got 6 bars with, let's just say 6 different bar mechanics. A-ism, V-ism, X-ism, and then 3 other ones. Now you got a character that you can play kind of 6 ways. And I guess that will probably come into the problem. People are like, oh, well, it's hard to balance this game now because we got, like MKX, you got 6 different ways to play a character. But I think that would kind of add some variety to it. I was a big fan of the bar system. The custom combo, custom combos got to come back. When they turn blue, it's on. Like, it was just something about seeing them, the little chime that it makes a little sound, and they just get the aftermath, after images behind them. They're doing custom combos. You doing like Hadouken, Tatsu, show you, like, that was amazing. And I wish they would bring that back for a new rendition of Street Fighter. I think as far as defensive mechanics, they had alpha counters, which I kind of wish would come back. And hopefully it give us a defensive mechanic that actually works as a defensive mechanic, and not like, oh, you do alpha counter, I'm gonna just grab you. No, if I do a defensive mechanic move, let me get you off of me. Not like, oh, well, you wasted that resource of defensive meter and I'm gonna still grab you. Fang. Did I say that? But yeah, just, give us a defensive mechanic that actually works. Like, if you're on me, get off me. There's no way to be like, oh, I'm gonna time this meaty so you can't do your alpha counter, and I'm gonna make it whiff, and I'm gonna grab you, and then you just wasted all of that resource. You got to build it back again. Alpha had the guard break bar instead of the stun bar, which was, I guess, is different because that bar, well, it decreased as you blocked, and then when it went away, you got opened up, as opposed to a stun meter where you only get stunned, I think, from taking hits, and when you block. Whenever you block whatever the stun meter is at, it stops at. So that would kind of be a different mechanic too. You also, I think you had air blocking in Alpha, I think, depending on what bar you chose. So yeah, if I had to choose a style of Street Fighter to be made for the rest of Street Fighter, it would be Alpha 3, hands down.
So yeah, I actually 100% agree. I think that it would definitely be Street Fighter Alpha 3. I would that would be the version of the game that I wouldn't mind playing for basically till the end of time. Especially if we're in a situation where you're taking that core game and then adding stuff onto it, like you're adding like characters from, like, you take like Laura or like Sea Viper in them, and you're putting them in the game and stuff like that. Like, I could play that for like that style of Street Fighter forever. If they're like, we're not making any other Street Fighter styles, that would be it. Number one, the general style of music is pretty good. Like, I was telling Octavian earlier how I guess whenever I think of that game, I think of the music. I think of Cody. It's Cody punching through like a solid wall. Like, that's exactly what I think of when I think of the music for that game. It's just like hard hitting, like really like in your face kind of, like, it's really, the music is just great. The of course, like Devin was saying, like the different bars you have, like the styles, the A-ism, the X-ism, the V-ism. The V-ism, as a kid, I really had trouble getting to work 100% of the time because I was like, what am I doing? But when you actually, like,
professionals use it, and you like,
yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, okay, so this is this is the true form of Vism. So, and then of course, then they took Vism and just gave it to only one person in Third Strike.
Yep.
And then of course, like they have like the Aism, the Xism, which basically gives you like different ways to use your meter and stuff, which is really cool. And of course, you're talking about like the air guarding. Now, normally that wouldn't like that. It's pretty cool when you can air guard against a lot of the other characters, but against M Bison, when you're fighting him, it's almost essential to have air guarding, because like you'll be like, okay, I'm gonna do a jump in, and then as soon as your feet leave the ground, what does he do? Psycho Crusher. Like it's every single time, like it's like across the screen, and he takes all your health. Like, and if you could air guard, it'd be great, but you can't air guard. But in Alpha 3, you can you have the option to air guard. So I think, yeah, man, like, and just the general style of the way the game looked, like if we could get an updated Alpha 3 look for like current and future generations, I would play that. I would play that game. That would be the game, especially when if you beat somebody by chip damage and it doesn't say chip, it says cheap. It says cheap. I always thought that was hilarious. And then you have Birdie. He's like, my name is Birdie. I'm the one who has the name Birdie. So why are you screaming cheap, cheap? I'm like, yeah, man. What a great game. Anyway, yeah, that would be the game. Street Fighter Alpha 3.
I say I'm not too familiar with that game. Let me see. I got a soft spot for Cross Tekken. Remember, I came in with Street Fighter 4, so I ain't played none of the ones back then. My soft spot is with Cross Tekken. If they said we don't have no choice and we had to stick with a gameplay style or something, now they could update the graphics though, but like gameplay style, I would say Cross Tekken, because Cross Tekken is probably like, besides it being my favorite fighting game, it was just something about, like, I'm all for combos and variety. That game, you was able to just, have your own combos, and you can easily tell, like Street Fighter 5, if two people playing the same character, they almost look identical, besides probably like one combo. But they all look and play the same. But Cross Tekken, you can tell a player from another player if they're using the same character. So I like the combo variety, and that was, when they, Street Fighter 4 had all the little vortex and all that stuff. Cross Tekken is when they nerfed that. So it was more about, it was kind of like you can play whatever style you wanted to. Like how y'all see now, Street Fighter 5, you can't really play your own style because trigger comes into play, and that just negates everything. And what's the word? Cross Tekken got the alpha counters, which was actual like real alpha counters. If somebody was all up on you and your character was close to dying, you can alpha counter. It's a hard knockdown, and they, and you can raw tag just so you can get them out. Like, it was actually legit. And I always felt Tekken was like the last game Capcom really tried at. I don't know what they're doing with 5, but I feel like Cross Tekken was like the last game that they really tried at. And it could bring back color customization. I love changing my colors of my characters. That was just, it had a little bit of personalization to it, So for me, it'll have to be Cross Tekken.